So the World Economic Forum is officially underway in Davos, Switzerland.
This is the most elite of elite bunches gathering here.
What do they actually do at Davos? And should we be worried? Or are they just there to help us?
Well, that's a great question. When the world's richest and most powerful people meet in Davos, what exactly are they doing? The founder, Klaus Schwab, and his team say they're trying to come up with ways to ensure peace and prosperity for all of us. But many, especially online commentators, suspect they're up to no good. Others, like Elon Musk, say they're not going because it's all too dull. The ever-entertaining Elon Musk said he'd never go to Davos because it's boring. For a man like him, that may well be true. But for most of us, it's actually pretty exciting. Only 3,000 people are invited to this exclusive Swiss ski resort every year, and they're almost always world leaders, rich businessmen, and a few famous people to spice things up. The journalists who perennially cover Davos are typically grateful for the access to big names and act more like the WEF's public relations team. Some of them seem to enjoy themselves a little too much.
There's always the risk in the global economy that something goes wrong.
Here in Davos, temperatures fall to well below freezing at night. In 2009, I suppose our big catch was Tony Blair, who quit being Prime Minister of Britain just 18 months prior. Out of politeness, I resisted asking him what he made of the allegations that he was a war criminal for what he'd done in Iraq. And the interview with my colleague went smoothly enough.
Don't you think it's time to change the course of diplomatic manoeuvrings and talks?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
Blair was a big fish, but in Davos, big fish are everywhere. I met Rwanda's President Paul Kagame in a lift. I shouted a question at China's Prime Minister Wen Jiabao and was ignored. I had a lovely chat with the UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan, who promised me an interview, until a little man with a clipboard came along and rescued him. In short, powerful people are literally everywhere in Davos, and my deployment was full of interesting moments. But the most memorable event happened while I was on the road back to my hotel. Turkey's leader was trying to talk about Israel's persecution of Palestinians.
1 minute. 1 minute. Well, 1 minute.
But the moderator was trying to move him on.
Benim için de bundan böyle Davos bitmiştir. Daha Davos'a gelmem.
Such drama is a rare event at Davos. Most of the discussions are quite staid and unremarkable, just how the host, Klaus Schwab, likes it.
Dear friends,
85-year-old Schwab is the founder of the World Economic Forum, which has been organising Davos almost every year since the early 70s. He and his WEF associates like to think that they can identify the world's biggest problems and then bring together the world's best and brightest to come up with the solutions. This year, the overarching theme is about rebuilding trust.
we have to rebuild trust. Trust in our future, trust in our capacity to overcome challenges, and most importantly, trust in each other.
The problem for Klaus Schwab is that no matter how well-intentioned he says he is, his critics online say he has a sinister demeanour and talks a bit like a Bond villain.
Hollywood 101, the evil guy.
You all will have implants. And we measure your brain waves.
And so he provides endless material for their rants online.
He's the creator of virtual signalling.
The future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room.
It's built by us, you will obey.
There, the world is a little bit improved now.
Could you be any more obvious that you're insane?
Well, lots of Davos skeptics online, so you can see why Klaus Schwab is talking about rebuilding trust. What does he mean by that exactly? Here's TRT World's Melinda Nucifora.
As this year's World Economic Forum convenes against a background of increasing global tensions and conflict, its theme, rebuilding trust, couldn't be more relevant. There are about 60 heads of state and government and 200 cabinet ministers convening here in Davos. That means it's an important opportunity for some sideline diplomacy. The theme also points to the increase in concern with regards to artificial intelligence and the misinformation and disinformation it can generate. The World Economic Forum's Global Risk Report has ranked AI-generated misinformation and disinformation as the second largest threat next year to the global economy.
So, is Davos and the World Economic Forum helping or harming us? Our two guests have very different opinions on this. The journalist Thomas Farr.
Now let's turn to Europe, specifically to the European NATO members. 29 of NATO's 31 members are in Europe, and all of them are worried because of Donald Trump. The former US president made a speech on Saturday. He spoke about not defending NATO members who did not contribute to the alliance. And that has led to a range of reactions in Europe. Some countries are treating it as a wake-up call, almost like constructive feedback. Others are angry. They're making jibes at Trump. But all of them seem to agree on one thing, that Europe cannot rely on the US alone. They need to come together. They need to prepare for war. Here's our report.
One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
That was the speech that has shaken Europe. European NATO members, anyway. Trump said you got to pay your bills, and it seems now Europe has finally woken up.
So I think it still is the plea for everybody to do more. And I think what the presidential candidate in America says is also something to maybe wake up some of the allies who haven't done that much. So hopefully we all do more, and collectively we are stronger together.
These words from former US President Donald Trump should act as a cold shower to all those who constantly disregard this increasingly real threat Europe is facing. We have to stand on our own feet, of course, still counting on full cooperation with the United States. But Europe must do more to ensure its security.
They're talking about waking up, doing more, a cold shower. Basically, exactly what Trump seems to have wanted. But the Europeans don't seem too happy about it. They seem hurt by Trump's statement.
No matter what will happen in the US in this year, I think the conclusion has to be written already now, that Europe needs to be stronger, and we need to be able to do more on our own.
Article 5.